All right, welcome back, True Seeker. I believe we are live. And first of all, a message to everybody who came out to Oklahoma City. Thank you again. If you captured any video footage, could you do me a favor? If you've already put that footage out there, or even if you haven't done it yet, can you put in the title of the video you post hashtag OKC April 19th all together? Hashtag OKC April 19th. If everybody did that, who's already put footage out there, it'll just make it, because you can click on those hashtags and then it'll take you to a wall of videos that are all from the event. It'd be an easy way for people to find who was there, who posted content about it. If you try out that hashtag, you'll see the trolls have already, the trolls have been making all sorts of videos and doing hashtag OKC April 19th to try and pollute it. But I mean, let's not worry about that. Let's just get all the content there anyway. It'll make it easier to find the videos that were uploaded. Because I know there are some people who recorded their own videos that were also there that didn't get taken down. A lot of information did get censored, but there's still content out there. If everybody does hashtag OKC April 19th, again, when you click on that or even search for that, it should take you to all the different video content that was captured. That would be awesome if you could do that. Thank you. And the other thing I want to say is I just realized we got to do this every year. Like, we got to continue to go back to that place every year. OKC, April 19th. This year, over the course of the 5 days I was there, I'd say around 100 people came through in the whole time. If we have a whole year to plan for it again next year, and we get other people behind it, supporting it, I mean, by next year, we could easily have 1,000 people, hopefully more. Maybe by the third year, it finally does what it needs to do, and you got all of America showing up, demanding justice. I mean, that Oklahoma City thing, just beyond the Gematria, there's so much evidence that it's a major lie and cover-up. And it's just like 9/11, the federal government withholding information and videos. And it's like, okay, if there's nothing to hide, then why is all this information being suppressed? We got to teach the world to get over this conspiracy theory thing and stop calling everything a conspiracy theory. Some things are obvious conspiracies. Oklahoma City, 9/11, definitely in that camp. And yeah, if you missed yesterday's presentation, go back and check it out, because I found some really concrete information that shows just how connected OKC April 19th was, and of course NYC September 11th, 2001. And yes, this year I am going to be making my first trip to New York. We will be there September 11th, 2022, the 21-year anniversary of the day. And already that needs to become something that's annual, just bigger and bigger crowds year after year, demanding justice, getting out information, showing that people still care. It's sad how many Americans have the mindset of, that happened a long time ago, get over it. There's no expiration date for justice. These are fundamental lies that change this country for the worse, that help build the surveillance state we're now living in. And people need to understand. The people that have been blamed for these events are not they might have been partly involved one way or another, but through intelligence agencies. But ultimately, at the heart of both OKC and September 11th is our own government, which is truly part of a larger international one world order government. But still, anyhow, I think what we need to do as a group, I like the idea of having a big rally type of date for each month, but as we see, it's hard for people to get out. Maybe if we could come up with 4 concrete dates, try to space them out about 3 months apart, 4 concrete dates per year for people to come out and rally around. Another one of those dates could be 11/22 in Dallas, JFK. Dallas feels like there's a lot of people who are awake in Dallas, and there's a lot of people going to that spot looking for truth and information. Definitely more so than Oklahoma City. JFK, it's for whatever reason, that's a bigger event in most people's mind than Oklahoma City. But I mean, you think about it, a whole lot more people died on the day of Oklahoma City. Anyway, I just realized that's what we got to do, you guys. We got to make these things annual. If we can get like four key events spaced out about every 3 months, just make those annual rally days. We're there. We're organized. We're getting out the word. We're making our movement bigger and bigger year after year. Again, I realize it can happen, you guys. 100 people the first time in Oklahoma City. Shoot for 1,000 next year, and literally shoot for 1,000,000 the year after. And I don't see why we can't do it. And I have a feeling that in the years ahead, you're going to see a lot more people waking up because, as we know, trauma helps people wake up, and the powers that shouldn't be, they got more trauma planned for this nation. They got a. It's hard to say just how far they're going to take it. The surveillance state's obviously going to go a lot further, but you know, they got things planned for this nation. Food shortages, all sorts of stuff is going to be coming down the pike because people aren't paying attention to all the signs. And another rallying spot could even be Georgia. The Georgia Guidestones are a little rural, but people need to know about what's on those Georgia Guidestones put there March 22nd, 1980. 10 new rules, kind of like 10 new commandments for a new world order. And again, the first one on there is the most concerning. The one about drastically reducing the population. Again, you look at the numbers on there, based on how many people are living today, they'd have to get rid of 13 out of 14 living people. But anyway, we got to make these events annual, you guys. And if you wanted to be there this year, I'm telling you, I'm already going to be there next year. I don't know if I'm going to drive out there though. Oh man, it's a long drive, but God, I will be driving if nothing's changed at the airports. And that's the airports, just with each one of their agendas, they make the airport even more annoying. In the post 9/11 era, you got to get undressed. You got to go through the scanner. You got to, take the shampoo out of your bag. Oh my God, your mouthwash bottle's too big. I mean, just all this stuff is such a joke. And, with each one of their agendas, they treat us more and more like we're the enemy, we're the terrorists, we're the germ spreader. It's just ridiculous. So, I'm driving past my corner right now. I got to get back. I'm driving past it right now. I got to get out on my corner with my megaphone. As soon as I'm done with the book, you guys, I'll be out pounding pavement again. But, yeah, so as a group, let's try to come up with do you guys agree with me or not? Should we do it? I'd like to get out and travel every month, but it's expensive. It's expensive to travel. And, it could be, if I was doing this once a month, like spending a whole week on the road and pounding pavement, probably age myself by 20 years in 1 year. It was a taxing week, driving. It was on the road for 60 hours, in a week of driving, plus all the other stuff. But yeah, I doing it every 3 months, that'd be a lot more feasible. And we just got to nail out the dates. Oklahoma City, I think, is a really good one. September 11th, really good one. Plug 2 more dates in that calendar year, And over time, it could expand, but I think 4 key events per year might be the magic number. So I'll look for that feedback. Again, right now I got those 2 dates, possibly also 11/22 JFK. Somebody might say October 1st, Vegas. Los Angeles, January 26th. Kobe thing. Of course, Kobe's death woke up a lot of people. Or it could also be something like, you just have your 2 main events each year. You have your 2 main events each year, which are Oklahoma City and 9/11, because, really, those are the 2 major acts of terrorism in U.S. history that are clearly federal government cover-ups. And then maybe the other 2 events, they kind of fluctuate by the year. Maybe 1 year it is Kobe. The next year it's Vegas. The next year it's JFK. So, but I realize we gotta make the commitment, you guys. We got to keep coming back year after year, because think about what that would be to the authorities, right? The authorities, I'm sure, were so glad that we left town this year. They were just glad to see our group leave. Thank God they're out of here. They were sending up all sorts of signals for the people in this town to wake up. They didn't want that there. The authorities are part of the cover-up. So imagine we come back next year and our crowd's even way bigger. And by the way, if you guys don't know this, I think we changed the way they did the memorial this year. For the first time in the history of Oklahoma City, they changed the location for the memorial service for the day of the explosion, April 19th. It was always outside where it happened at. That's where they always had the memorial until this year. For the first time ever this year, they decided to have the memorial in the church across the street. And if you saw the stream that YouTube took down, when we showed up to the church, the police were waiting there, lined up in front of the building. They were waiting for us to show up, and they said, none of us are allowed in the memorial. We're not allowed to be in there. We'd be trespassing if we tried to go inside. And, you know, so we come to town and they got to switch things up. And why did they really do that? I think they wanted to close off people from possibly hearing the message that we had to share that day. And I got to admit, I watched last night. I watched A Noble Lie. I hadn't seen it before. Chris Emery, the filmmaker, the narrator for that film, he came out to meet us. And right now, there's no legal place online to watch his video because the legal places it was banned from Netflix and Amazon. And he said they're in negotiations with another company to get the film back out there in a legal way. So the only way to watch it right now are pirated versions online. And, I don't know how Chris exactly feels about people watching the pirated versions. But like I said, at least there's a way to watch and appreciate the work. But yeah, anyhow, watching the film last night, you just get to see how many people in Oklahoma City know that there's a cover up and a lie and want justice. And again, it shouldn't just be the people of Oklahoma City that had to experience it in the most physical way possible that want the justice. It should be the entire nation. And again, if you were alive that day, you knew about that and you experienced the trauma in one way or another. I was a child in elementary school, and we had an assembly that day to talk about the tragedy. And I just remember being like perplexed as a child, thinking, God, why would somebody ever just blow up a bunch of people? I mean, kids and all. And you grow up and then you start to understand the government needs that. They plot their own terrorism, more funds to keep you safe from the terrorists. We need more funds, more taxes, more surveillance over your life to make sure you're not the terrorist, or to make sure your neighbor's not the terrorist. And again, fear is a weapon used to control people. And that's really ultimately what Oklahoma City and 9/11 boil down to. And there's probably some other sinister plots. Like if you watch the film, they said a lot of the Whitewater documents, which was the Bill Clinton scandal, they were being kept in that same building in Oklahoma City, which again is interesting because it's Arkansas, where Clinton from, and again Timothy McVeigh supposedly radicalized in Arkansas. And by the way, shout out to Daria, who came all the way out from Utah, and Daria, who always leaves great comments and who was helping us in real time. She did a little more investigating on that Richard Snell, who was put to death the day of the bombing, put to death by the federal government on the day of the bombing. And again, he was accused of plotting to blow up the building in '83, the same building that blew up that day. He's put to death. But she noticed that on April 19th, '85, that's when he was raided and arrested by the feds as well. So the day he's raided and arrested by the feds is 10 years to the day of him being put to death by the feds and the building blowing up. And again, it's just like, come on, what are the odds of all these dates being so perfect? And again, he's part of that Arkansas Elohim Cedia thing. If you watch Chris Emery's video, A Noble Lie, from their investigation in Elohim City, that they point out that it seemed like 2 out of every 3 people there were feds themselves. So the supposed white supremacist encampment is infiltrated by FBI and CIA, and then that's where McVeigh's radicalized. And then they blow up a federal building. It's just so obvious. It's all in-house, right? That's why they say inside job. And by the way, if you watched yesterday's stream where I was connecting all the dots, I left one thing out of there. Again, McVeigh had his trial in Denver, Colorado. And you got to ask yourself why. Like, okay, he's in the white supremacist camp in Arkansas. He's living in Buffalo, New York. You know, he blows up the building in Oklahoma. So then the federal trial's in Denver, as we know, in Gematria. There's Daria right there. Hey, Daria. Hope Daria made it home safe. But as we know, Denver equals 68 in Gematria. And what Daria caught is the case, the judge who oversaw the death sentencing of Timothy McVeigh. His birthday is June 8th, 6/8, right? Denver 68 to go with all the other 68s in the ritual. McVeigh born in 68. You know the list. But yeah, I mean, these are all questions people have. Denver, like, why Denver? But then you know the gematria, and you just see it's like they just got to put the number on every inch of the ritual. And let's not forget, he got sentenced to death June 13th, 97, the day leaving 201 days left in the year, and in 97 as well, when death is 97 and Oklahoma City's on the 97th meridian. But Poseidon got that 97 connection too. I swear to God, there's got to be a trident somewhere there. I'm gonna find it. We know they're putting that trident everywhere. So somewhere we're missing the trident with Oklahoma City. It's got to be there. How could it not be based on how much they use that symbol? So yeah, I'm making my grocery store run. So I thought I'd do a little live stream. I'm almost to the store. But yeah, again, if you're out there, if you captured video, if you could just make an edit to your video title and do hashtag OKC April 19th, all as one thing, it'll make it easy to search for it and find all the video that was uploaded. So I'm talking to, Rob Antico. I'm talking to Fake Mike, Real News. I'm talking to Yeah Right, The Matrix, and anybody else who put up video content. I saw the cameras out. I'm not sure everybody has a YouTube platform or social media. Even if you're on another platform, still do the OKC April 19th so people know to search for it there. But yeah, I think that would be good. And again, just ignore the trolls. The trolls are trying to have their impact. I noticed there's like 5 new videos out since I drove back from OKC saying I'm a shill. It's like, and I'm sure those are the same, type of agents that were there harassing us. What's funny is I didn't see anybody make a new video about Low Impact being a shill. Did you guys see what he did? He fled Oklahoma and went to Trump Tower in Vegas for the day of April 19th. First live stream he's ever done on the street anywhere. Brian Young, I'm calling you out, man. It's sad. That dude's never did a live stream anywhere on the street. On April 19th, he's in Las Vegas, of all places, at Trump Tower live streaming. And we all know why. His little alibi for why he couldn't do. I mean, Brian, it's just such a joke, man. I was serious and sincere about sending you some money for little Lizzie, and I wonder if there even is a little Lizzie. To be perfectly honest, you might have raised like how much money you raised, like $30,000 already for a little Lizzie. But I was serious. I was going to send money to it. All you had to do was promote Oklahoma City April 19th. But here's the deal, Brian. Even though I really don't trust you and it looks really skeezy what you did going to Vegas and not promoting the event. Excuse me, allergy season. Things are in bloom here. But guess what? Because we're going to do it again next year, you got a whole year to promote it. And if you can start promoting next year's event, I'll still make a donation to Lil Lizzie. I hope she really is a real person and she needs the money. But yeah, and you know what, everybody else, start planning for next year, Oklahoma City, April 19th. We got to have a bigger crowd next year. And by the way, next year, I'm going to do a little bit different. Next year, I'm going to come in through Texas. I might go all the way down to Houston to start. We'll definitely go through Waco. I believe it would go Houston, Austin, Waco, Dallas. That's what we'll do. We'll go through Texas, and then by April 19th, we'll be at Oklahoma City. So this year we'll be prepared for all the trucks or all the tricks. We'll have them all ready. So, and then of course before that we got September 11th. Hey Brian, why don't you come out for September 11th instead of going to Trump Tower in Vegas on September 11th? Why not just take a little road trip up to New York and practice what you preach? That's the thing. A lot of people talking real big online and doing next to nothing. So again, a lot of online salesmen. And Again, just not a lot of people actually putting themselves out there and helping people organize and link up. And see that for those of us who have followings, if you will, the thing that we have the ability to do is bring people together and help them organize and network in their own community. And that absolutely has to happen. That might be the best thing that came out of, going to Oklahoma City and Dallas. The people that came together, exchanged phone numbers, contact, email, and now know that, hey, they're in the same town. My man Corey in Oklahoma City, he networked with like probably at least 10 people. He's got 10 new people to network within his town. That they can come together. They can come together once a month or whatever they want to in front of that building and try to raise some awareness. Just don't step on the property or you're going to have the security guards shoving you around. And same thing in Dallas. And sweet lady, she's inspired by what she saw. She saw the beginning of something beautiful, and I've been telling her, I'm like, listen, if you just start spending more time, now that you don't have school, and sweet lady, she went into that field that I'm not crazy about, but yeah, I don't know if you saw last night's stream, the Pillow Talk one, but I was just saying, like if she's by my side and she's traveling with me, we don't have to rush through the country. We don't have to get so stressed out on the road, and we can take it city by city, help people link up. We could have been in Salt Lake City yesterday on the megaphone, educating the good Mormon people about what happened to Orrin Hatch in their rig basketball game, and just the latest example of celebrity death in sports. It's so undeniable. But anyway, I got to go in the grocery store. Sweet lady's hungry. I got to hurry back with the groceries. And yeah, we're going back to Oklahoma City next year. We're going to September 11th this year in New York. And she'll be like, oh, Zach finally went to New York when he turned 39. Well, that's just the way it worked out. It's just the way it worked out. Looks like I'm going to have to wait till I turn 39 years old to finally make it to the 39 state. But again, synchronicity is a real thing too. And I would have been there sooner, but it's taken this long to warm sweet lady up to, doing these things. And I think she's, also warming up to it more and more because she sees how messed up things are right now. And she hears me more and more when I say, listen, if people like myself don't stepping up more to the plate, I mean, what's going to happen besides just watching the world from the sidelines get worse and worse? So we're not watching from the sidelines, True Seeker. And again, thank you to my man in Dallas who hooked me up with the hat. The YouTube censorship hat. The trolls already have a video on this hat saying I was wearing it and it's purple. I was wearing the purple on the Queen's birthday as part of the Illuminati network. I mean, you guys, in what world is this hat purple? The guy's purple because that's the YouTube thing. The hat's blue. But yeah, I guess trolls will be trolls. And again, if you guys weren't hearing me before when I told you that there's a full-time employed, likely group of operatives in a federal building somewhere. If you guys were doubting that, you shouldn't be doubting it anymore. I mean, look at everything that has happened to me in Oklahoma City. And again, the reason they're doing that, you guys, is because we're right over the target, dropping bombs, truth bombs all over them, and they hate every last second of it. And they don't want the word to get out. And they're doing all their favorite tactics. Instead of going after the message, they try to make the messenger look like a bad person. That's why almost all the people making videos about me, that they're chopping up videos and slandering and being super misleading. We just help people make a fortune on March Madness. One of the trolls has a video saying that we had a horrible March Madness. In what world, man? Most people's pockets were so fat after March Madness, just nothing negative to say about it, unless you're a dishonest federal agent trying to spin the truth. So anyway, September 11th, be there if you can. Next year, Oklahoma City, April 19th. I don't even want to see what the world's going to look like by then, man. Things are going to get worse, you guys, until we stand up and take the power back. Until we stop complying with the tyranny, things are going to get a lot worse. But at the same time, we still got to keep fighting back. And I'm saying, we make these events annual. People know they're going to happen each year. The numbers will get bigger and bigger. 100 this year, 1,000 next year, 1 million in 2 years. Could happen. It could happen. 2 years from now, people might be in a lot worse situation and they want to know the truth. So thank you for everyone for listening. Thank you for everyone who's dedicated to the cause. And I will do a live stream later because I got a lot more to say about Orrin Hatch's death. So Till next time, Truth Seeker. Have a good one.